Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. We can see that on the daily chart really still nothing happened. Bitcoin continues to consolidate in this sideways range, which I would call a potential triangle, but probably rather an ABC structure. Don't get me wrong though, this correction still has the chance to morph and transform. The corrective structures like to do that, especially in a wave 4. You can see triangles, you can see WXY patterns, you can see normal ABC structures. Yeah, that's pretty normal and they tend to morph and transform. So I try to give you at each possible juncture alternative wave counts as well. Now, as I always say, when we're dealing with a correction, you might want to stay on the larger time frame. When you're trading within a correction, which to be fair, for most people is probably not the right thing to do, trading within a correction, unless you're a range trader, because this is a range. Most people like to do trend trading, but that's not the right approach in a correction, or you have to stay on the larger time frame. So if you want to avoid the chop, that's actually what I try to say, stay on the larger time frame, like the daily. Don't worry about, oh, is this going to become a triangle, or is it going to become an ABC structure? The best way to do it, and I shared it many times, and I know it takes patience, but it's actually very simple. You don't need to make it complicated. You have your triangle here. This is the support area. Below 50.7K, I would have to change my approach about the chart. Yeah, because then Bitcoin would break this structure and setup. Doesn't mean Bitcoin would become bearish, but certainly less directly bullish. And if that's your trading plan, and you want to trade for the fifth wave to the upside, or even within the fourth wave, you can just buy here and sell above. Okay, it's very simple. It's a very simple approach. Now, I always say Elliott Wave is not a trading system. It is a method to help you understand the markets. It's a way of analyzing structure. It tells you about the roadmaps, guide paths, different possibilities, and it's above everything, a risk management tool. So it tells you precisely how you could calculate your position size, against which level you would need to calculate your position size, which is down here, 50.7K, at least if you stay on the daily. And then one of the best ways to do it is to just add in here, scale in, accumulate, and sell in resistance, or as the price climbs and as the market makes profits available, because this often happens in B waves. Yeah, so for example, in these corrections we often get extended B waves, and these B waves make profits available, sometimes unexpected, but that's how you can strategically prepare for that. So buying in here with the largest position size down here. Now you might never get a full position, but that's fine, because if you don't, the trade worked out, and then you can sell again in batches, keeping a core position ready for the fifth wave. But still, because we're in a correction and the market does a lot of up and down, you might want to take some profits regularly. That's just one way of doing it. That could be a strategy, but as I say, Elliott Wave is not a trading system. You have to use your own trading system with it. Now you might do, you might do that. You might just, calculate your position size, add in, scale in batches, and that's enough. You don't need to do anything fancy with a lot of indicators, so that might work well. So, but overall, support areas haven't changed in weeks here on the Bitcoin chart. The next upside wave 5, should take us to possibly 90K roughly, maybe even a bit higher. So we can calculate that once we have a low in place. It is possible that Bitcoin is working here on a triangle, but I don't have enough waves in place for a triangle. So I'm rather focusing here on this ABC structure that's unfolding in yellow. That is the more common structure. It is possible, and we see that on the smaller time frame, that this B wave is still unfolding as a larger ABC structure. B waves have the tendency to extend. So that's what I'm observing here. The trend is still up. Bitcoin saw a little bit of a red day yesterday. First of all, nothing unusual in a correction. We are in a range. We haven't even broken the range. Some people get scared in these corrections, but that's, zoom out and understand that we haven't even come close to support. So nothing, it's the crypto market. It is volatile and you have to be able to withstand that volatility with your portfolio, but also mentally. It's just what it is. It's just the crypto market, and Bitcoin, we need to give it that space in the entire support area if it needs it, and it wouldn't change the structure. Now let's go to the smaller time frame. Looking at the shorter time frame, I gave you a micro support area that you could use if you want to. It's just not high probability, but possible. I shouldn't say it's not low probability, but it's just not expected until we see some evidence that the price extends the B wave. We're dealing here on the 1 hour chart with this yellow wave count primarily, which is a wave A to the downside, a B wave rally, and then it would be a C wave to the downside, which should reach 59.1 to 54.9K. That would be ideal. The 59.1K level is the 100% extension of the A wave. It's an ideal target for a C wave. Could also go a little bit lower. That is represented by the white Fibonacci extension levels. But yeah, it is also possible that on its way into that target area, the price does a few more squiggles to the upside, possibly rallies a little bit, and forms this white ABC structure, which is just an extension. So this B wave, basically in that assumption, would never have finished, and it would reset a bit higher. That's one possibility. Or a triangle is unfolding. All I did here was to share with you the area between the 50% Fib level and the 78.6 Fib level of that rally here that started on the 20th of March. And it's just a common area where prices tend to react, even in a downtrend, and might give us a corrective bounce, or where even this B wave extends, or where we are extending into a triangle, you know, that's all possible still within a correction. And yeah, we have 3 waves down, obviously, into the support area. So maybe that C wave is forming here, but there's not yet enough evidence for it, okay? But it could be. I mean, there is a reaction to the golden ratio level, a very, very common support level, okay? If we look at, microstructure to the downside, it depends on how I count it, right? I mean, in the white B wave, that's a crystal clear ABC structure. So I could say, okay, we've had an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave. And yeah, it could turn around from here. But that's just what the microstructure allows as interpretation. It is not really expected until we see maybe a first 1-2 setup here in wave C, or a really strong buy reaction to the support area. But the potential is there for this correction to morph. I mentioned in yesterday's video, I added this high B wave because I wanted to, I don't want anybody to be surprised if this correction transforms again, which would be good for Ether. So that would be helpful, because then Ether would possibly hold support. Lots of nervousness around Ether in the community. So that would be good for Ether, but it would need to break above a certain level to give us a first initial hint that things are extending. And I'd argue best would be a break as an earliest indication, a break above micro resistance here. So a break above 67,226 would at least tell us that this structure is likely morphing. But that's just an initial signal, so I just let you know standard resistance for immediate downside continuation. Ideally, we wouldn't break above 67,226. And then if we break above resistance, that opens a whole array of other, possibilities, like a triangle, that high B wave, and so on. So the main reason for the white wave count is to be not surprised in case it morphs, and to know where roughly to take profits if the market makes a high B wave available. But overall, nothing really changed. I think the ideal downside targets between 59.1 and 54.9K are still relevant, either now or maybe a little bit later. If we have that high B wave done, then the price could still come down in a C wave, but then we would need to recalculate those support levels. Yeah, that's my update about Bitcoin. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.